Hello guys, welcome back to CTF Tricks once again, and today we will be doing the Advent of Cyber Day 6. Today is December 6, like around 7, and like I'm a bit late for this video, but yeah, still we will be going ahead and doing this. This is the Day 6 of Advent of Cyber, where we'll be learning about malware analysis. So today's topic is malware analysis executable. So as for those who don't know what TryHackMe Advent of Cyber is, it's an annual event hosted every year on December, starting from December 1st till December 24th, and where we explore various topics in cybersecurity and learn from the very basics till the very advanced level of topics in cybersecurity, along with the very trending topics in cybersecurity as well. So, if you are a beginner to the cybersecurity or someone who loves exploring new topics in cybersecurity, this is one of the best events you can participate in. So without much ado, let's go ahead to this room. I've already started the machine. So for this, just start the machine and you will get some box like this popping up in your browser. Like there is a split screen VM that will pop up. It's a Windows machine that pops up. I'll just open it in a larger tab and I'll close it. Awesome. So what is malware analysis? So malware analysis is the process of examining malicious file to understand its functionality, operation, and methods of defense against it. So there are two main branches of malware analysis, namely static and dynamic. Static analysis focuses on inspecting a file without executing it, whereas dynamic analysis involves execution. We will be covering both of these types of analysis, malware analysis, in this video. So make sure to stick around till the end. Also, we'll be covering the bonus task that is in this room. So, moving ahead, I'll just go to the list set of tasks that are mentioned over here. So, before doing that, what other things that we will learn in this room is we'll be learning about three tools that we will be using through this malware analysis. So, one of those is PE Studio, and let me go to this. Yeah, so one of this will be P Studio, the other will be Procmon, the third will be Redshot. P Studio will be used for the static analysis. Procmon is process manager, process monitor. So we will be monitoring the process during the dynamic analysis. And Redshot is a tool that helps you take snapshot of a registry. Again, we will be using it for the dynamic analysis. So going ahead, let's start with the video. So I'll just scroll down to the very end to check on the list of things that you need to do. So let me move on to this lab terminal, like the Windows machine. Here we see all the three things that we'll be using, like the Redshot, the P Studio, and the Procmon. Let's open the P Studio first. Awesome. So in P Studio, you can select open files via two means, like you can drag and drop the files over here, or as well as you can click on file, then open file and select the file that you want to open. I'll just drag and drop the required file over here. We will be dealing with hophelper.exe. So once you will get a hophelper explorer over here, file explorer over here, and you need to open it. Once you are in the folder, you will get the hopexplorer.exe. What I'll do is I'll just copy it and drag and drop it over here. And once I drag and drop it over here, it opens in the P Studio. Awesome. So first of all, the first data that we see over here is the SHA 256 value. And so for this, I'll just copy the value, right click, copy value, and I'll keep that copied in my clipboard, and we see all the other details like the file name, the debug file, the versions. Then we see all other things as well, like the imports, what all things it is importing, and the libraries that it's using, the resources, and a lot of information that will cover, like part of which we'll cover in some time. So we have already copied the SHA-256 value for this file. We'll be copying it and we'll be pasting it in the first question that says, what's the SHA-256 sum of the hop helper.exe? So we already got the SHA-256 sum. We'll click on check, and yay, it's the correct answer. So now within the strings of hop helper.exe, a flag with the format thm exists. What is the flag value? Awesome. So in this PE Studio itself, on the left hand side, we see there is a strings section. We will click on the strings, we'll let it load. So this is a equivalent command for the strings command that we have in Linux. So if you have used Kali Linux, there's a command called strings. And then if you give a file, so it lists all the valid strings that it can find in the file. So here it lists all the strings over here. So we need to search for the format thm and um, like opening braces and then some flag and stuff. So here we found it. There is a thm strings found flag. I'll just right click, copy value. I'll go back to the thm TryHackMe page. I'll paste it and click on check. Awesome, we did it. So that's the second flag, second question solved. Now, what registry value has the hop helper.exe modified for persistence? So now, till now, what we did was a static analysis. As you can see, like we didn't run the file yet. We were just looking at the code, we were looking at the strings and all the stuff. So now we will move on to the dynamic analysis. One thing to note over here is that host name for this machine is breachblocker.sandbox. We should remember that because we'll need it in some time. So before moving to the dynamic analysis, open this registry short. I'll just open it. It runs as administrator, so we need to approve it. So don't worry, this is just a VM. It won't impact your normal machine, so you can feel free to run it. So in the short, we will select plain short. We'll leave the output path and everything to default and click on first short. Once we click it, we get all these options, and here we will click on short. So here it will take some time to actually take a snapshot of the registry. Once it does, we'll move on to run the file for the first time. That is, we will run the hophelper.exe for the first time. In the meantime, let's open this folder. Let's keep everything ready. Awesome. So red shot actually completed our first shot, that is before the hop helper.exe has been run. So now let's move ahead and run the hop helper.exe. So often what we see is this executables, this viruses, this malwares, what they do is they actually put uh, command in your run, like every time the machine runs, this file will also run. So they put edit the registry to actually make that happen. So once we run that, we get a command like king malware sends its regards, And all these files, as you can see, all these icons have been replaced by this egg symbol. This is a very simple malware, but often like this ransomwares and viruses, they are often more harmful than this. This is a simple malware that just replaces your icons, but yeah, you get it. So I'll click OK and click on the second shot and click on shot again to take the second shot. We'll wait for some time for red shot to take the second shot, and once it does, we will compare both the shots. So let's wait for it to complete. It's doing its job. Okay, so for the third question, we need to provide the full path of the key that has been modified by our malware to actually make it available for persistence. So we come back to that shot and we see that our second shot is also complete. So now what we will do is we'll click on this compare button to actually compare the first shot and second shot. First shot is the shot of the registry, like the backup of the registry that we took before the malware was run. And second shot is the backup of the registry that we took after the malware is run. So once we both of this complete, now clicking on compare will help us know what changes the malware has done to our registry. So just clicked on compare. I'll let Redshot do the rest of the things. And once it does the compare, it will give the changes that it finds in a txt file. As you can see, the txt file has already popped up. Over here you see the time of the first shot, the time of the second shot, the computer name of the first shot, the computer name in the second shot, the username in the first shot, the username in the second shot, and so on. So here we see there are two keys that were added for um, something, and here we see that there were 5 values that were added as well. So what we are looking for is a hop helper.exe. So we'll find control F on this hop helper.exe and we'll find next. So there are, I'll do wrap around, sorry for that. There are total of 5 places, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Total 5 places the changes have occurred. So what we are looking for is a change in the registry which will help in persistence. So this change doesn't look like a change that will help in persistence. This is the same thing, whereas this, the third change that we see over here, is actually a change in the run. So this actually helps the hop helper.exe to maintain its persistence. So let's copy this and let's get back to TryHackMe to paste it. So I'll go back to TryHackMe and I'll just paste it and click on check. And awesome, we did it. So next what we'll do is we need to filter out the uh, output of procmon for TCP operations. What network protocol is hop helper.exe using to communicate? Make sure to have executed hop helper.exe while procmon was open and capturing events. Awesome. So let's close this and let's move on to procmon. Procmon will also be available in your desktop and you just open it as administrator and allow the pop-up that comes up. So once procmon is open, we see something like this. So I don't want to mess up the entire flow, so I'll just quickly open procmon and quickly run the hop helper.exe to maintain a low logs count. So I'll just open procmon. Yes, once it opens up, I'll go back to this hop helper.exe. I'll run it. I'll wait for the king malware message and stop this proc1 process monitor. Once I stop it and go all the way down, possibly somewhere you will find the executable that we ran, that is hophelper.exe. So let's do one thing, reduce the size of it a bit. Awesome. Okay, we did it full screen. Anyways, so let's go to this filter. Let's select process name is, and here we will select op helper.exe. And once you click apply, we see all the things that hophelper.exe was doing in the background while we clicked on the hophelper.exe. Here we see it has some closed files, it has some registry close key. Sorry, let's analyze from the beginning. This is at the end, so that's why I was wondering why it is doing a close since the beginning. Okay, so at the start we see a process start, then a thread create, then a load image. So it's loading some image, then it's again loading some image, then it is opening, editing some registry values, it's creating some files, it's loading images, and that's almost everything that it is doing. It has a lot of operations, a lot of the operations that it has run in the background while we were just waiting. And what we are interested in is the network operations that it carried out. So let's do one thing. Let's apply a filter to actually sort out the network. I'll click on the filter again. I'll select operation, that is over here. And in this, I'll write TCP, and I'll click on all the things. Add, connect, disconnect, other, receive, reconnect, retransmit, send, TCP copy, and unknown. So we added all of these things like TCP connect, disconnect, other, receive. So all of this format of messages, any of this format of messages, if it turns out and turns up in this logs, we'll be able to filter it out. So let's click apply and OK. Awesome. So we see a series of connections. We see a TCP connect, we see a TCP send, we see a TCP receive, and we see a TCP disconnect. The TCP formats. Like the next thing what we see is if you double click on any of these events, we see the network, like the operation that was the result, if it was success or a failure, and the path that it was sending. So here we see like we are connecting from a specific port in our machine and sending to the HTTP port in our machine. So if you remember, I asked you to remember the machine name which is available on this desktop, that is black breach blocker -sandbox. And once we come over in the process monitor as well, we see this breach blocker -sandbox. So this is our own machine. So if you want to dive deeper, you can analyze more into all these things. I'll just close it for the time being. And so in from this message, what we see was it was using an HTTP protocol. So it's using a HTTP protocol. So it's asking the fourth question is what's the output of proc1 from the filter the output from proc1 operations and what net protocol is it using? It's HTTP. And it's the correct answer. So can you find the web panel that hophelper.exe is communicating with? Yes, we can find the web panel. So it's breach blocker hyphen sandbox colon HTTP. So it's just the HTTP port on our machine. So what I'll do is I'll do 127.0.0.1 colon 80. So we are going to the local host of this machine. Just a second. Okay. Oh, sorry. I opened my browser. Oh, we need to open the machine's browser. Sorry for that. So I'll go to the machine's browser. I'll type 127.0.0.1 colon 80 and we'll get to the login page where the malware is sending all the data. So here you can see like we have run this malware 2 times and it has sent 2 times the data. Like so it has all the data that we want. So here we see if we click on view details and scroll down, you see the host name, the username, the OS version, build, and all other data that the malware is sending it. Of course, the malware can send a lot more data from more like when compared to this, but right now for this tutorial, this is it. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and please feel free to subscribe to the channel, like this video if you like it. So that was the final thing. Like we found the web portal that hophelper.exe is communicating with. I'll click on check, and this is again check. If you adjust to resume, yay, you did it. So malware analysis executable is complete. So thank you for watching.